On this episode of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, we welcome back special guest Vincent LaRussa as we break down the Van Halen debut album, song by song, and we ask the question, did Eddie Van Halen rip off Gene Simmons for one of the songs on the album? Sit back, relax, and enjoy our episode. All right, hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. Again, with me today, I have my good friend, Mr. Vincent LaRussa. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. Doing well.
Oh, very good.
I've been looking forward to this since the last time we did our first Kiss album and Hotter Than Hell album ranking and rating. So
Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to it as well. You know, like you said, last time we did was a Kiss and we did Hotter Than Hell. But today we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to do something that is not Kiss. So that's.
Are we allowed to do that?
I don't know if we're allowed to do that.
I mean, I'm looking in back of you. I see, I don't know, there's like Tommy Thayer's guitar, Ace Frehley picture. It's all right. Okay.
Yeah. I think pretty much almost everything in this room here is Kiss related. But we're going to go outside of our comfort zone this time. We're going to go outside of that.
And we do have a long history of enjoying other bands. So
that's right.
This is cool. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So I'll give a little preview of the album cover that we're going to be touching on today. There it is, the first Van Halen album in all of its glory, a classic indeed. And last time we did the Kiss debut album, so to me it'll be interesting to see when this is all said and done, where does the Van Halen album compare to the Kiss debut, the Kiss Hotter Than Hell album? You know, where does this compare? So I guess without further ado, why don't we just jump right in, huh?
Well, one thing, because I'm going to top you with your album cover, because I have in my hand.
Yes.
And this particular copy, if you see, and you want to wonder why the price is X'd out or marked out. You gave this to me for my 17th birthday.
Did I really?
As a gift.
Okay.
Yes. And
so
I guess you didn't want me to be able to look through the sticker that says $7.99 or whatever it says here from Record Factory on 86th Street in Brooklyn, New York. So yes, this is still my original copy, still with the shrink wrap, because you know me, got to preserve the mint. So that's why this is kind of cool that we're talking about this album when this is the album that you got me for my birthday. Okay.
So I did not know that, so I'm glad you kind of
see that? That was a little surprise. Already growing old, had a surprise.
That's right. All right. So I guess now, without further ado, unless you have more surprises for me.
No.
Okay. Maybe you got me a gift all these years later.
Well, I might have, but
all right. So first Van Halen album. I think we both probably agree overall it's a classic. But let's go through song by song and see how these songs stack up for us. So first one on the album, "Running with the Devil." Why don't you go first here, buddy?
"Running with the Devil." This is do I hear the bass line somewhere?
Yeah, I think I hear a bass line.
Yeah, I made sure I did my homework. I gave everything a listen again, so I had everything fresh in my mind.
Yep.
And I'm still wondering what the intro sound they use before that infamous bass line. And actually, I saw a video that this guy did on and I know I'm already diverting. I'm sorry, folks.
That's okay.
But I saw a guy who did a top 13 bass line or intro bass lines of all time, and this one he felt made the list. Actually, I think it was top 20, and it's just his opinion. But it's such a simple bass line, and it's just such a classic way to start the record. And I love the song, and it's kind of it's dark. It's I would say it's like medium tempo tune, and I just find it interesting. And before I go to the next thing, that they decided to start with this song, I think it's a solid, strong song. And I would say, based on our rating system, which we don't have to go through that again, I give it a solid 7.5. Solid 7.5.
So that's very funny because that's exactly what I was thinking as well. This is why you and I, when we do these, it's kind of very funny because we certainly have similar tastes. For me, I think it's a really good song. Clearly, it's a classic. I love the opening bass line, like you said. Just for me to go into that really like upper echelon, I always feel something's missing. I don't know what it is. It's a good song, not a great, amazing song to me. I'm going to go 7.5 as well.
Okay, cool. So we agree, like the upper echelon really starts at 8, right?
Right, exactly. Okay. So that's what we said last
cool.
episode. The upper echelon started at 8. 5 was average. Anything below 5 is obviously below average. So, so I think it sounds like we both landed on 7.5 on this one.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And as per usual, I'm going to play scoreboard here, so I'm going to enter in our ratings, so we can have a accurate, we don't get audited based on our numbers and our figures at the end of this ratings. Okay, so go ahead.
Right. All right. So then I guess next up, it's interesting. The second song on the album is it's an instrumental, but a classic one. And I remember when we did the Kiss debut album. We kind of debate. Yeah, you knew it was coming, right?
Yeah. So this counts. This one counts for sure.
Right, exactly. And you were like, well, an instrumental's not really counting. I was like, counts? And you were like, no, I don't know about that. And when we were debating that back and forth is when I actually decided, the next one we have to do is the Van Halen debut album because, while we both agreed Love Theme from Kiss was not necessarily a great song, in my opinion, Eruption, I don't care that it's an instrumental. It's an absolute classic. I could listen to it as a standalone song. When I did my homework and played back the album, just to kind of refresh all the songs, I'm listening. I'm like, damn, this instrumental is absolutely great. Obviously been copied by plenty of other guitarists. Eddie did it in concert as part of his solos. I'm going to go with a solid 9 on this, even though it's an instrumental. It's it's a solid 9. And I always used to love to say, I'm not much of an instrument player, unlike yourself. I could probably play this one on bass guitar. The two notes they have in the song.
Finally, something he says that's accurate.
That's right.
Nah, just kidding. But okay, that's I'm gonna give you my opinion on this. Look, you got to picture the first time anybody had heard this.
Yep.
Nothing had ever come before this instrumental that ever sounded like this, and I still remember that feeling I got when I heard this. And I wish in 1978, which that's when the album was released, correct?
Yep.
I had heard it for the first time because unfortunately I didn't. But because that must have been really awesome when this album first came out. I really I think got to know about this album maybe in 1983, I want to say about. But considering nothing ever sounded like it, and since it was such a groundbreaking style that, like you said, been copied a zillion times, and so inventive, and just his tone alone. When I was listening to it, I was just like, wow, I've listened to a lot of music, a lot of genres, and still to this day, it holds up so well. And I honestly think I can't give it anything less than a 10, even though it's an instrumental, just based on the fact that it's so unique. It's such a one-of-a-kind thing. How could I give it anything less than a 10, So that's my rating for that one.
Yeah, no, look, it's hard to argue with what you said. And I remember one of these Van Halen books I read, they said when they were doing club shows before the album came out and he would play this, a lot of times he'd actually play with his back to the audience because he didn't want other people seeing what he was doing. Yeah. So, like you said, it's groundbreaking. Certainly I could understand why you'd say it was a 10. It's hard to argue the logic. I'll stick with my 9, but both of them are obviously upper echelon ratings. So obviously we agree with that. So, obviously then from there it goes right into You Really Got Me, a cover soon, but a classic cover. You want to go first? Yeah.
Sure. If you're going to do a cover, you got to do it right. Yep. And we had a couple of covers. Actually we had one cover, right? From the first Kiss album, where they did Kiss in Time, right?
Yep.
Hey. And again, from the opening chords and his guitar tone, you just know you're about to get your hair pushed back if you still have hair, or I didn't mean that as a jab at you. I'm sorry. I made the reference. People should see you back in the day, and they had hair.
That's right. Very funny.
But it just kicks ass. I just love it to this day. The one thing that I want to just quickly talk about, and not just particular to the song, again, listening to David Lee Roth really, I feel has never been given the proper acknowledgement as a singer. Everybody, he's an okay singer. He's not that. He's like Ozzy, Paul Stanley, and as soon as you hear his voice, no one ever sounded like him before and after. And he's got such an attitude, the way he delivers the words, and I believe it might be in this tune. When I was listening to where you first heard the classic David Lee Roth, like, wow, when he does that, that he would do a zillion times after that. It's, and so I just think that he just never really got the pride. I know in concert he would never stick to the song. He's all over the place.
Exactly.
I'm just talking, yeah. I'm just talking about what you heard on the record.
Yep, agreed.
But yeah, I mean, I still love this version to this day, and to me, it's it's a solid. I want to say 8.5, 9. I don't know if I'm an 8.5 or a 9, but I mean, it's a cover, so I guess I'll shave a point off just because they didn't write it, but I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay, yeah, it's all fair, all good comments. For me, I think one of my biggest memories of this song, obviously we grew up listening to it as kids. When Van Halen reunited with Dave Lee Roth in, I forget if it was 2007-ish, I guess. I went to that tour, and they actually opened up their shows with You Really Got Me. And I remember getting to the arena around 20 after 8, figuring Van Halen was going to go on around 9 o'clock. And I'm walking around, getting ready to go to my seat. And all of a sudden I hear, "You really got me." And I'm like, Dee, what's that? Well, why are they playing this over the PA? And then somebody opens up the door like towards the seats, and you could hear Van Halen's on. I went running in, and obviously we're talking about the album versions, but anytime I hear this song, I think back to that reunion and just honestly how great they sounded that night. Like you said, I think it's a great cover tune. For me, I give it probably a solid 8. I think it's, very solid, upper echelon song, maybe just the lower of the upper echelons, which is why I'll go with an 8. But, I can listen to this song pretty much any day and be happy doing so.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep. So I guess next up is Ain't Talking About Love. And, maybe I'll go first on this one.
Yeah.
So this one is, to me, an absolute classic. Yeah, obviously, when Dave left the band, it was one of the few original Dave Lee Roth songs that Sammy Hagar continued to sing with them, and for good reason to me. This song has certainly stood the test of time. The guitar solo in this is amazing. The riff is amazing. The whole melody of the song, the medley of the song, just absolutely amazing. To me, an easy 10 on this one. I think this song is, I'll say, damn near perfect, if not perfect.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the greatest, rock and roll heavy metal songs of all time. You couldn't be in Brooklyn, New York, and in a battle of bands and not hear a band play this song back in the day. You remember we used to go to Fort Hampton High School.
Yep, absolutely.
Every band would play this, including mine. I mean, it was probably one of their most top, covered songs. And even still to this day, my band, Squeezebox, we cover this song. And it's a great song. Also, what I love about the song, I know you covered the parts of the song, but the breakdown, again, you got that oozing of David Lee Roth just like drooling all over you with that attitude. And it's just lyrically, it's cool. I mean, I've had to perform the song and sing the song, and when you really pay attention to what he's saying, again, I don't think David's gotten enough credit for his lyric skills. I mean, from all accounts, I know that he's wrote pretty much the entire, up until, including 1984 record. I don't know of any other, where Eddie or anybody else wrote anything. No. Certainly not Alex.
No, I think the only song that comes to mind is "I'll Wait." I think Michael McDonald wrote some of the lyrics, but you're spot on. Yeah. That's
how I presented it, folks. Yeah.
Thank you for that performance.
No problem.
I'm going to ask you to perform later on in this show also for something else.
Okay, that's fine. Just give me something that's not too challenging.
There you go.
So yeah, I agree with you. It's a total 10. This is perfection.
Yeah. I'd have to believe most people watching this with us is going to agree on that one. That's that's a classic. That one's perfect to me. All right, so next up then is "I'm the One." You want to go first here, buddy?
Sure. So when I was listening to this one, it kind of sounded to me almost like a precursor to "Hot for Teacher" in a way. Because the drum,
that's exactly what I thought. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Is that a Meatloaf song?
Yes, that is a Meatloaf song.
Could you see, folks, that we've gotten a little bit more comfortable since we did the last one?
That's right.
As soon as I heard it, I was like, it's got that, that double bass, with the triplet feel. Yeah. Really cool tune. I love the groove. I think it's got a cool chorus. For this type of tune, I'm gonna say, I'm looking at the other tunes in my head. I'm gonna give it a solid. Man, this one's tough. I want to say a 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a solid 7.
Okay. Yeah, so you stole my thunder. To me, absolutely. As I played this back.
Sorry. We just make this all song oriented.
That's right. No, to me, this was, I know it came first, but it was like the poor man's Hot for Teacher, you certainly hear that type of influence. And as I'm listening to the songs, I'm like, God, this song in a lot of ways kind of set the tone for a lot of songs that we even heard in the 80s, so I love the guitar solos in this. I think, Eddie plays a great guitar solo. But for me, I found the song boring a little bit. I don't know how else to say, even though it's got the energy.
Like Cold Gin boring? Oh, no.
No, you know what? Maybe almost Cold Gin boring. Yeah, there's something, for me, there's something that's missing. If Eddie's solo in this wasn't as great as it was, I might even say that I felt that, this is a below average song. I know it's a classic. I know, probably many people love it. For me, I'm going to go with like a 5.5, and I'll give it that 5.5 because of the guitar solos. Otherwise, I'd probably be at 5 or less.
Well, you know why I gave it a little bit more? That little breakdown, the bop choo bop.
Yeah.
I mean, that like whoever thought to do that was genius. I mean, where you're not going to expect that in the tune, and again, it just showed you, Again, the vocal skills, got to give Michael Anthony props. I mean, the harmonies that he did on these records, being able to sing all those high, and we could always clearly, and we'll get to it, we could always clearly hear Michael Anthony. And I think that's when I heard that again, I was like, wow, and that's like within being a huge Beatles fan again, just hearing those harmonies and that breakdown and the drums, and it comes back in. It was just awesome to me. So,
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because probably to me, that was my favorite part of the song. But I'm going to stick with my 5.5. For me, it's just a little bit above average. So,
fair enough.
All right. So next up,
flipping over to side B.
Flipping over, that's right.
Side B.
Side B.
I'm a vinyl guy, so
that's right. Yeah. Absolutely. As evident by the fact that you still have the vinyl I gave you 30 years ago. That's right. Very good. So,
remember when Kiss used to take pictures back in the day? They didn't want to.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So it's funny that you bring up Kiss because I'm going to actually, Jamie's Crying is the next song, first song on side 2. And I'm just going to, I guess, give a little Kiss reference here. So I have no idea if this is true or not. I forget where I read it, but I don't know if you've heard this story before. But yeah, everybody knows that Eddie and Alex was on the demos that Gene Simmons did for Tunnel of Love, Got Love for Sale, and Christine 16, which he did in 76. I read somewhere that after Eddie did those demos, he really liked Christine 16 so much that he went back and wrote his own version of the song, that being Jamie's Crying. So I never heard that before, and I just read this a couple of years ago. And you listen to it, and you're like, all right, well, you could hear it with like the bass, it has similarities, and there's a little bit of a similarity in the structure to me, a little bit. They're different songs, but I could hear where that's a possibility. So I don't know, anybody who's watching this, if you know for sure, one way or another, if that story is true, I'd love to know.
Underneath.
That's right, comment underneath. Because I'm not saying it's true, but I've read that, and it was interesting. So again, I'll be curious if anybody knows that. So, but saying that, I think Jamie's Crying is a great song. It's a little bit more on the poppy side, but I never mind a good pop song. I think it has a good melody to it. I think overall the whole song is great, and I'm going to go with an 8 on this one. I think.
Say it again. I don't know if it came through.
I'm going to go with an 8. An 8.
An 8. Okay. Nice.
An 8. Okay. An 8 because it's pretty great.
It's pretty great. So I mean, the first thing I want to mention that, for those of you who don't know or do know, Tone Loc sampled Jamie's Crying on his, I don't know if it was the Funky Cold Medina song or Wild Thing. I think it was Wild Thing.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember him.
Well, that's interesting. Because didn't he also sample Christine 16? I think he did. Interesting.
Hey, see where I'm going here.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is that, the universe is aligned.
That's right.
The
Tone Loc universe. Great.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one of the things I always remember when I first heard that. To your point, hearing Christine 16, bam, 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 even that little snare fill, and
right. Yeah.
Anyways, all right. But this is a cool tune. It's got a cool chorus. I love the guitar melody in the intro. I love that little breakdown on the bridge with the backing vocals. You get Michael Anthony and those guys doing their thing.
Yep.
It's a cool bridge. I agree with you. I'm going to give it a solid 8.
Okay.
Solid 8. We used to watch Solid Gold.
That's right. Very good.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about when I just did that reference, put in the comments below.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so we both went with an 8 on Jamie's Crying. So next up is Atomic Punks. Do you want to go first on that?
That's Atomic Punk.
Atomic Punk, yes.
Yeah.
That's the old.
They didn't have
Brooklyn
they didn't have multiple punks at that
No,
time.
they didn't.
It was the first album, so it was one punk.
One punk.
If they would have did it on Van Halen 2, it would have been Atomic Punks.
That's right. Very, very good.
I'll go first. Yeah, this is my least favorite song on the record.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about average. Honestly, on such a classic, great album, I really, it's hard for me to go higher than a 5 on this tune.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my feel on this one.
Yeah.
Nothing really stands out. I mean, it's not a bad song, but there's nothing that really got me again.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was like, oh, I really like this break. I really, it just kind of was like, kind of went wrong. It kind of went wrong like this,
Yep.
Where like the other songs, it's like being on one of those roller coasters where you're on an awesome ride.
Right. Yeah. No. I tend to agree with you. To me, it is overall a pretty average song. Something about the song for years has always reminded me of, I don't know why, but like a Black Sabbath riff that was a little bit like left over. I can't say exactly why, but it has a little bit of that feel to it to me. But maybe just like a little, like a sped up type of Black Sabbath riff a little bit. Even though the song's a little bit mid tempo, but I just find the song boring overall. I guess that's my favorite thing to say when a song is average to below average. It's boring. Honestly, this is one when I play the album that I don't mind skipping, and I don't miss it. Saying that it's not horrible, I'll go with a 4.5 on this one. To me, it's just a little below average.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. I could go to 4.5 on that, but I already threw out my rating, so let's keep it as a 5.
That's right. Yeah, please don't try to copy me.
Yeah, I've been trying for years.
All right,
trying and failing for years, guys.
That's right. So let's next up is "Feel Your Love Tonight." You want to go first?
Yeah, this is a cool tune. It's got a cool chorus. It's got a great hook to it. It's got a great feel to it, pun intended. I like this song. I'm gonna give this. Looking at my other ratings, I think it's a cool tune. I'm gonna give it like a 6.5.
6.5. Wow. All right. Interesting.
6.5.
All right, so this is one where we're going to probably differ a bit here now. So I want to say that this is actually my favorite song on the album. Now, that's
actually a favorite song now.
Yeah, it's a little tough for me to say just because you got classics like Ain't Talking About Love. But because Ain't Talking About Love is so played out, when I put on this album, this is the song I look forward to the most. I actually love the song, have loved it for years. It's very catchy to me. It's damn near perfect. When I was thinking about this beforehand, I was like, how am I going to rate this? And I'm sitting here right now and I'm like, could I go a 10 because I think it's my favorite song? But I got to be honest with myself. It's not quite as good as Ain't Talking About Love, but it's damn near that to me. So I'm going to go with a 9.5 actually.
Cool. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad when we kind of differ in in a 2 to 3 point ratio was, we don't want people to really think we share the same brain.
That's right.
As scary as that would be.
God forbid.
Yeah.
No, I'd probably put that as one of my maybe top 10 Van Halen songs. Certainly top 10 with David. Maybe
another
maybe
fun
even top
fact
5.
that I didn't know about you.
That's right.
That?
That's right.
Amazing. Exactly. After all these years, you find out things.
That's right. No, I've always loved that song. So, all right. I guess next up on this album then is Little Dreamer. You want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, this is like my sleeper song. I love this tune. I think I love it because it's so different from the rest of the songs. I just love the intro guitar, slow. Even though the chorus isn't like this whoa boom like in your face chorus, it's just the ooze and he's going with the little dreamer. It's just got a really cool feel and sound. This is actually a song I've been wanting to cover for years. But I just figure a lot of people don't really know it, but it would be for my own selfish reasons. That being said, I can't say, oh, this is perfection. It's a 10, it's a 9, even an 8. So, I gave Jamie's Crying an 8. I don't want to say sleeper song. You know what? I'm going to give it, I don't think I like it as much as Jamie's Crying, so I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay. All right, very good. So, here I'm going to say we, as usual, we agree. This is a sleeper song for me as well, in that it puts me to sleep. Okay,
Yeah, you had me fooled there. I was like,
I knew it. It's like I'm going to set
Yeah.
you up here. So yeah, I actually don't like this song at all. I find this song very boring. It's my least favorite on the album. So definitely you and I differ. I'm glad you don't cover this with your band, because that's when I'd go out and take a piss, because it's just like, it's just.
That's it. I'm doing a gig of just this song. All right, the next song we do is the last song we did for you.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. This is below average. I find it boring. I'm going to go with a 4 on this one. There's nothing about the song that moves me. Exactly.
That hurt.
I'm sure many other people will agree that it hurts, but yeah, I just don't like it. It's like I said, it puts me to sleep. So it's your sleeper
Right,
song,
so-
and it's mine also for different reasons.
So you gave it a what?
A 4.
4.
A 4.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I guess this is the song again that, last time when I gave Cold Gin, I think I gave it a 5, and, I expected the nasty comments, and I got a few of them. This is probably the one I'll get nasty comments on from the Van Halen fans, thinking that I'm nuts.
You might be surprised.
Yeah.
I'll be curious with this one, you know?
Yeah, let's see. So, all right. Next up is another cover tune, The Ice
Yeah.
Cream Man.
Yeah, the Ice Cream Man.
And if it was on Van Halen 2, it'd be The Ice Cream Men.
So many men,
That's
so
right.
little
So-
ice cream.
That's do you want to go first, buddy?
I'm sorry.
That's great.
Yeah, a cover, yes, but so cool. Just you finally get to hear Eddie play a little acoustic on it, and again that David Lee Roth slobbering, his style and his the way he approaches, a lyric, so cool. And then when the band kicks in with the drums and the guitar, and it goes into that signature, Alex Van Halen double bass again. This song kicks ass. It's such a great original cover song,
Right.
if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
You're gonna do cover songs. That's like even when they did "You Really Got Me," and it was in the tradition of the original, but it in some ways like blows the doors. And I'm not saying it's a better version than the Kinks, because the Kinks are the Kinks and they wrote the tune. But I'm just saying you gotta say, like, listen, we gotta do this with conviction. We gotta do something that's gonna people go, wow.
Yep.
And I just think this song is just so good. I enjoyed it. It's like one of those songs I'm like, why haven't I listened to this song more in my life?
Agreed.
It was just that is just a great, great song. I'm gonna give it. I'm not. It's hard for me again because it's a cover to give it perfection a 10. So I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay, very good. And what did you give You Really Got Me, just out of curiosity?
A 9.
A 9. All right, so you,
Yeah.
I'll say like both covers equally.
Gotta think about that for a second. For different reasons, I guess. Yeah. I mean, look, You Really Got Me is a little bit more dear to my heart, near and dear to my heart. It's the first song I ever played as a drummer with a guitar player in my basement.
Okay.
Remember that correctly?
Yeah.
It's one of those things I remember. But yeah, I mean, you could throw a couple of shade 9.2s or 9, but I'm not going to go into that territory. I'm going to give it a 9.
Yep. Yeah. So look, overall, I agree with what you said. Yeah, I think it's an amazing cover. I love the acoustic intro. I remember seeing Van Halen, and David Lee Roth would always come out with the acoustic guitar at the beginning. When it kicks into the electric part, it's just it's a great cover tune. I think in terms of covers, I actually think I like it better than You Really Got Me, and I don't think that's just because You Really Got Me is played out, so to speak. But I just think like you said, it's anytime I hear this, I'm like, I should listen to this more often. This is really just a damn good song. I'm gonna go with an 8.5 on this one, I think.
Yeah. So you gave an 8 to You Really Got Me, so you give this a 0.5 more.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me because I do like this one a little better. So I can live with that rating. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that brings us to the last track on the album, right?
It does.
I think so.
And you know what this track is.
Very good. Do you want to go first with that great performance?
This was a song that us as kids we used to mock,
Yep,
and
absolutely.
just because of the vocals, it wasn't because we thought bad song. There's one other thing I just want to go back to.
Yeah,
just
go
thinking about just talking about this album was released in '78. Now let's just remember what music was like in 1978. Disco was ruling the airwaves.
Very good point.
So you got to remember that this album came out in a thick, probably almost the height of the disco era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Warner Brothers put this thing out. Considering that, I mean, I just think you got to give them props, you know.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that being said, on Jamie's Crying and on this song, and that's why I'm bringing this up,
mm-hmm.
Michael Anthony does this thing that's typically done in disco basses, which is called octaves. Because he does these like upward octaves. And Jamie's Crying, he does it, and on Fire. And his bass line on Fire is truly on fire. And I love this record because if you listen to it, it's totally Eddie, one guitar and bass.
Yep.
I don't think there's really any overdubs.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he goes to his guitar solo, you don't have that rhythm guitar in the background.
Yep. Agreed.
And it's just that's what's so cool about this record.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular song, his bass line kicks ass, and I just love the bass line.
Yep.
That being said, I think I love the riff, the opening riff. The verses are great. Then we come to the chorus. It's such a I don't even know. It's you know, you and I are gonna have this sort of thing for this chorus because again, as kids, we used to
literally like walk around and just sing it for the hell of it.
Yeah.
I think we still do sometimes, but
yeah. And again, Michael Anthony's, you know, the pitch and the range that he hits on that note, and David too. It's just great, you know. I still love the tune. I have an affection for it because of our childhood, and
absolutely.
And I still think it's a great song. That being said, you know, looking at everything else on here, I'm gonna give it. God, where am I gonna give this? I'm so up and down with this tune. Maybe I'll give it a. I can feel your love. I gave it 6.5. You gave that, man. Man, I'm struggling with this one. I guess I'll give this a 6.7. I can't give it a 7. I gotta go odd for one. I'm giving it a 6.7.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, maybe on another day I would give it a higher. I don't know. It's just a weird. You know, I don't know. It's either. I guess the point is I don't know if the chorus is good or not because of like we've kind of in some ways mocked it for years.
Yeah,
is the chorus good?
Right.
It's repetitive. I'm on fire, I'm on fire, and then fire. You know,
well, that's our favorite part.
Fire. You know,
and then it even goes up one more level.
Yeah, but it's great. You know, I love it. But
no, that's what I love when they're doing the fire, and then it's not loud and high enough. They got to even bring it up one more octave or whatever it's called. You know, so it's good. It's good. No, well, it's funny because listening to it, I kind of feel the same way. You know, like you're saying, we kind of for 30 years have in a loving way made fun of the chorus. And but you listen to the song and the riff to me in the song is great. I think the song itself is really good. The On Fires is not predominant throughout the whole song. It's not like there's like every 30 seconds there's another chorus and you listen to On Fire, 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 so the guitar solo is good. I like when they do the second round of On Fires if the song starts to fade out so you don't have to be tortured with that too.
Ted Templeman's like, all right, 55 On Fires,
exactly.
Go.
Exactly. So I tend to agree with what you're saying. I don't know if that chorus really is good or not. I think you summed that up perfectly. I'm gonna go with a 6.5 on this one. I think it's just below. When we start to get 7s and 8s, that's when we start to talk about like upper echelon songs. And to me, it's just below. It's definitely above average. I'm comfortable with a 6.5. I'll let you top me with the 6.7.
Yeah, that being said, it's my least favorite part of the song. Fire, of course. It truly is. I mean, I listen to all the other bits of the song.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other parts are stronger, but this is my least favorite part of the song.
I like that. I like that. Very, very well said. So, all right. So I think that rounds up the whole album. Maybe before you tell us what our final ratings are for the album, we didn't do this with the Kiss albums, and I regret that we didn't do it, but why don't we talk about the album cover just for a minute? Why don't we rate the album covers? That's right. There it is again. You have to rate it picturing that Record Factory sticker not on your cover.
I'm not tearing it off. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, what do you think of the album cover?
I think it's awesome.
Yep.
I love this album cover. Again, it kind of reminds me, with the first Kiss albums, you made a reference to the Beatles.
Yep.
It kind of like it's their own different thing of that, the four of them on the cover.
Yep.
I love like whatever the effect. This is before they did Photoshop,
Yeah.
Michael Anthony's, from the chrome on here or whatever they did and this in the background.
Wait. I love that his bass looks. It's on fire.
It's on fire. Yeah.
Right.
And his face too.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just oh, I hurt myself doing that. Yeah. It's a great photo.
Yep.
I love it. And the logo, you get to first see that Van Halen logo.
Yep.
Somebody actually get credited for that, but it's an awesome art direction and design.
Yep.
Give it to Dave Bang. This is an awesome album cover. I love this album cover.
Yep.
I mean, for album covers, we're rating them. You're telling me, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, give it a rating.
It's a freaking 10, man. How could you not give this album cover a 10?
Okay.
You know?
Excellent.
It's simple, but it's effective. Great pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. I think, like you said, I think the pictures themselves are great. I don't love that Alex Van Halen's a bit blurred out to the point that you can't even tell if there's a person out on the drums or not.
He is the ugliest member. I mean, they might no disrespect to Alex.
So I love the logo proudly displayed. I'm looking at it right now myself. I think the other three pictures are all great. I just wish the Alex picture was a little bit better. For that reason, I can't give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 9. But there's so much about this album cover that's right. So I'll give it a solid 9.
Cool.
Yeah. So, all right. So where did we end up on our overall ratings for this album?
Okay. Drum roll, please. Where's the drummer? I hired him to show up. There he is. You come in with a score of 81.
81, okay.
I come in a score of 86.
86.2. So what is that? 86.2 you said?
Yes.
All right, so there's 11 songs on the album. What does that work out to as an average rating?
Okay. Do you want me to do that math?
Yeah, come on. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. So let's see. So there's 11 songs we said, right?
Yes, there are. Because again, Eruption does count as a song. Instrumentals
that
are good.
All right, you made your point. So I guess yours averages out to about a 7.4.
Okay.
7.36, you round it up, right? 7.4 if I do my math right.
Yep.
Mine is a 7.8.
7.8, nice. So how does that compare then to our ratings for the original Kiss album? So you said I'm a 7.4, right?
Yeah. So I didn't do the I don't think we did the averages on you might have had that numbers, but I can quickly do that if you want.
I might have them here. So I think, my averages, if I remember.
There was 12 songs on that, right?
No, 12 songs. 10 songs.
10 songs are. All right, calm down.
10 songs.
Throw me in jail or something. All right, so for the first Kiss album.
Yeah.
This is right. This is you got the 7.7.
Okay.
And mine is a 7.7.
So we were both at 7.7 for the debut Kiss album. So
Yeah,
you actually rated the Van Halen debut 7.8. You said overall, right?
Wow. This is how these ratings are so weird because I would listen to the first Kiss album over this record any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking, I guess, for what it's worth. I don't know. Right. So
you look disturbed.
A little bit, yeah. I mean,
you look
well,
disturbed.
I mean, because to me, it's got to get Love Theme from Kiss, Kissing Time. Those were not songs that and I gave them low ratings.
Mm-hmm.
I think that drove the numbers down. But
just remember that is 20% of the album.
I know. All right, you made your point. I'm doing the Hotter Than Hell now. So
okay, all right. So go ahead.
The Hotter Than Hell is an average of 8 for you.
Okay.
8.05, and mine's a 7.5.
Okay. So if I got it right off the top of my head, I think my rating for the 3 albums we've done so far was Hotter Than Hell. I ranked the highest, followed by Kiss. I think you said was 7.7, and then I'm at 7.4 for the Van Halen album. So that's probably what I would expect based on my. Like you said, if I'm going to pull out an album, which ones do I prefer? That sounds about right to me. And how did your 3 rank?
In the order, Van Halen at 86.2. Is that even right? The first Kiss album on a 77.3, and How Did Hell is a 75.
Okay, so Hot in Hell, you had a seven.
Well, you got to remember, you know, that total number. There's one extra song
Right.
on.
Well, that's why you're supposed to divide it by the album tracks, right? So Van Halen, you said came up to a 7.8 for you,
Right.
right? And then I think
Which
the Kiss album was 7.7.
is just about 1.1 in the
Right.
difference. It's pretty damn
Exactly.
close.
It could go
Yeah.
anyway. And then
Right.
Hotter Than Hell, I think you had a 7.5.
Right.
Right. All right. Interesting. Very interesting.
I'm sticking to my numbers.
Yeah. I love
For
it.
For
That's
now.
it. It's closed. No changing of the numbers.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. So all right. Well, I guess we'll wrap this up, and then album covers. I said 9. You said 10. Right. So
We don't throw that into the overall rating. We're just
no,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe when we do future episodes, we'll compare album covers, and we could do that as well. So all right.
Okay.
I guess to wrap this up, for those of you who watch this, let's hear your comments. I'd love to hear some of the feedback again on that Jamie's Crying versus Christine 16. Little Dreamer, I guess, is it a sleeper or does it put you to sleep? And I guess overall, just, what do you think of this album? And, feel free to leave your comments and your ratings on this. And I guess that's about it. Anything else for you, buddy, before we close this?
No.
No.
Nice closing.
All right. Very good. Well, again, this is the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn. I appreciate everybody watching this. Go follow me on the Facebook page, the Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, very creatively called that. And on Twitter at Mike_Brunn. There you have it. And
There's so much I could say there, but go ahead.
that's right. And if you're in Brooklyn, go check out Vinny's Brand, or if you're in Staten Island, check out the Squeezebox Band. You might even get lucky, and they might do a Little Dreamer somewhere in the future. So very good. All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Right.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for watching this episode. Subscribe to my Facebook page, The Rock and Roll Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all of your favorite rock and roll music.